Today I'm going to go over a comparison video of two weapon mounted light systems. One is the Streamlight ProTac, it's a real popular choice, and then I also have the Olight Odin Mini. So let's see which one is right for you. Okay, first let's go over the Streamlight ProTac. It's a weapon mounted light system. It comes with a mount built onto it that's actually integrated onto the sight. It's a simple thumb dial that does have a slot for a quarter or a flathead screwdrivers if you got it too tight or wanted to really snug it down. It does come with two end caps. I've never actually put the other one on. The other one's just a regular push button so you can operate it with your thumb, but I use this light as a weapon mounted light, so I don't really have a use for that. But it is nice that it's at least included. It also comes with the paddleboard and the Picatinny rail pieces, the mount pieces. On this paddleboard, there's a couple different options. You can program it to how you want it. I have mine programmed to low is always on. So if I press it, hold it down, it's low. If I click the front button, it stays on low. If I double tap it, it switches to high beam. If I double tap it and click the front button, it stays on high beam. You can program that so it's straight to the high beam if you want to, or a couple different sequences, and they go over that in the user manual with this. It's pretty straightforward. It runs on two CR123 batteries, just unscrews here. That has a fantastic battery life. The low setting will run about 23 hours, it says on the website. I've ran this light quite a bit and never ran it out of battery. On the high setting, I got about 110 minutes, 113 minutes out of the high setting on constant on. And that's just a test that's sitting here on, pointing at the wall, so with use. I have abused this light quite a bit and had great success with it. Never had a failure or anything like that. It does secure very well. It has a spring behind it, so it can't really loosen on its own unintentionally. It definitely secures well and stays tight once you get it snugged onto your rail. Now we'll talk about the Olight Odin Mini. This light comes with a rechargeable battery inside of it. I think it's a 5700 series battery. Has a tail cap that just unscrews, you pull it out. The nice thing about it is you don't have to unscrew it to charge the battery up. It comes with a USB connection and this Olight little magnet that you simply click onto it, and that's how you charge your light. I think that is a pretty nice feature. You don't have to take your light apart, take your battery out, fumble through that. It simply magnetizes on there, stays on there, and charges your batteries. It takes about 3 hours to fully charge it. The paddleboard works in the same way. The paddleboard has this end on it. It magnetizes to it. It has a locking ring that clips on, and then it is secured on there. Or you simply pull that locking ring up and then the whole thing comes apart. It's just magnetic. This back piece, the magnet piece, is also a tail switch, so it's integrated in. A soft press is your low setting. All the way down is your high setting. If you hold it down, it's momentary, but if you just click it, it does turn on and stay on. So you don't have to hold it down. The paddleboard, however, is only for the high setting. If you click it, it's on high setting. If you hold it down, it's momentary on high setting. So there is no switching between low and high, it's just constantly high. Some people like that, some people do not. The way the Olight mounts, it has this lug attached to the light itself. It's for any scout mount. It does have two threaded holes if you wanted to mount it directly to another mount system, but this is for a scout mount, and it actually comes with that scout mount. So there it is attached to my rifle. All you do is slide that in, and then you turn this dial right there to lock it in place. So that locks it and unlocks it. If you want to remove it, you do have to hold down on that. It is a button, and then you can slide it out. I do like that mount. It's a pretty nice design. If you have it locked in there, it's not going anywhere. It also does come with your paddle switch mount. The front slides in, the back clips into these two little prongs, and then you have your paddle board attached to your firearm. And then it's just magnetic. So typically I have those tucked into a zip tie there so that's not loosey-goosey. But it is a pretty solid system. It does mount nicely, and it does operate just fine mounted like that. It's a little bit of an offset, a little bit higher on your rail, so it kind of stays out of the way if you were to have something else mounted, or if your grip is off to the side like that, it is out of your way a little bit more, which is kind of nice. Here on the screen I have the data sheet for both the Olight on the left and the Streamlight on the right. So we can immediately see that the lumens on the Olight are slightly better. It says a claimed 1250 lumens, whereas the Streamlight on the right side says 1000 lumens at the high setting. Both of those are pretty close. I'll add a video here of the high performance at a 25-yard target, and then at a 100-yard driveway type deal, so you can see what they actually look like. The runtime on the Odin is a little bit misleading or confusing to read. Down where you see it says 6 plus 11 plus 39 plus 14. So I did a side-by-side comparison on these two lights. I turned them both on the high setting, and I let them run until they died. The Olight ran 61 minutes and 30 seconds, and then it completely shut off. The Streamlight ran 113 minutes, and then it switched to the low setting. Instead of just completely shutting off and dying, it switched, reverted to the low power setting, which it claims will run for roughly 23 hours. I didn't run it the whole time out. The high setting was what my curiosity was about, what my test was for. So we found that out. The Olight is a little bit shorter, about an inch shorter. It's 4.55 inches, whereas the Streamlight is 5.43 inches. So they're pretty close, but the Olight is a little bit more compact. It's a little bit smaller in diameter as well, roughly the size of a quarter, whereas the Streamlight's probably closer to the size of a silver dollar, or an inch and a quarter maybe in diameter. It's just a little bit larger. I'll post a picture here. The weight is very similar, despite being a little bit shorter. The Olight weighs 6.21 ounces, and the Streamlight weighs 6.90 ounces. So they are very, very negligibly different. They're very similar in weight, despite the size difference. There is no strobe setting on the Olight. I did forget to mention that while I had them in the hand. There is a strobe setting on the Streamlight. If you have it set up, you can do a strobe. One last thing I wanted to point out is the IPX rating. So that is your waterproof rating. The Olight has an IPX rating of 8, IPX 8 rating, which typically they give you a depth that it's okay, like it'll say 30 feet for 20 minutes, for example. The Olight doesn't give us that, which I'm kind of confused by, but we can reasonably assume that it is waterproof. You could operate in the rain with it, you could dunk it in a bucket of water and wash it off, whatever you need to do, I'm sure you could do. I'm not sure I would take it scuba diving at 100 foot, but it is reasonably waterproof. The Streamlight, on the other hand, it is waterproof as well, but it has two different ratings depending on which cap you have on it. If you have the paddleboard cap, it has an IPX4 rating, and if you have the push button cap, the regular like a regular flashlight, it goes up to an IPX7 rating at 1 meter for 30 minutes. So it is reasonably waterproof with the button cap on. The IPX4 rating is basically a water resistance more than a waterproof. I would not dunk it for any extended period of time. You might be able to dunk it and rinse it off, and that's about it. and you probably risk doing some damage to your paddleboard if that's the case. You'd probably be okay in the rain, but actually submerging it is very iffy with those ratings. We have a very dark night. This is the Streamlight ProTac. That is the low setting. My fence is 20 yards away, the wood pile. Here's the high setting, 20 yards away with the Streamlight ProTac. Here's the Odin Olight Mini. There's the low setting. Fence is about 25 yards away, 25 yards away, 20 probably. And here's the high setting, 20 yards away. You can clearly see my turkey and my target. Streamlight ProTac. This entrance is about 100 yards away. There's a high setting. There's a low setting. Once again, there's a high setting. Olight Odin Mini. There's a low setting and the high setting. Odin Streamlight ProTac. Odin Streamlight ProTac. Odin Streamlight ProTac. So that sums up some of my thoughts and the technical data between the Odin Mini and the ProTac. I think they're both solid lights. I think I'm going to keep running the ProTac on my primary. I like the options to switch between the low and the high beam, especially when walking into CQB, tight quarters, white walls. That low beam definitely helps me with target acquisition and target ID. The high beam definitely has its place, especially on outdoor operations and things like that, hunting scenarios, but I think the option to have the two low and the high beam and the extended battery life, I'm going to stick with the ProTac on my primary. I do like some of the features of the Olight. It definitely has its place. I'll definitely run it more and keep playing with it on a secondary gun and some range guns and things like that. Maybe I can get it dialed in or figure out a way to run the low beam and the high beam on my paddleboard. But I think it's definitely a solid light. I definitely think it looks a little cooler. That's got to count for something. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Go check out the blog and we'll be coming out with some more. So stay tuned and see you guys soon.